Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, GCU students and alumni. Welcome to episode 3 of the Designing with Love podcast. In this episode, I would like to provide an overview of some AI-generated software. First, I will cover the uses for AI-generated software, how to leverage the tools, the benefits of AI-generated tools, and some of the potential drawbacks as well. So those are the 4 areas that I will cover in this podcast. First, let's go ahead and cover the uses for AI-generated software. As I was doing some research in this area, there are actually quite a few areas that are seeing an increase in AI-generated software use and development. But there's 4 of those areas that stood out to me the most that I wanted to cover in this podcast. The first area is healthcare. AI-generated software can help to detect diseases, help with chronic conditions, and also aid in new drug development, which is pretty exciting. The second area that AI-generated software is taking off is in the area of finance. AI-generated software can detect changes in transactional patterns, identify potential red flags, and also it can be able to assess loan risks, which is pretty great, especially when we think about the areas of finance and identity theft and things like that. That's a great area to be able to use that type of software. The third area is marketing and customer service. So if we think about how AI-generated software can help with that, we can look at personalized shopping and also chatbots, and it can also prevent fraud as well. So this is something I think is an area that most of us have used at some point or another and may not even have realized that we've used AI-generated software, especially in the areas of personalized shopping and the chatbots as well. So if we think about personalized shopping, if you go to an online website and you go to purchase some things, and then it makes personalized recommendations for you as you're shopping, that is probably AI-generated software that is doing that. And also, if you've ever been to a website where you need help and need customer service, and there's a little box at the bottom right that says chat with us, and you click on that and you get an area where you can type information in and ask questions, and you're able to get responses back from that chatbot, then that's also AI-generated software. And that's, in a way, level 1 customer service, which is pretty neat. And if you need anything that's additional, or there's something that the chatbot can't answer, then you can always speak to a live customer service agent. So those are the 4 areas that I think are really taking off when it comes to AI-generated software. Feel free to do some research and look at some of the other areas that are also experiencing some growth in AI-generated software as well, because I'm sure that this list will grow and it will change and evolve over time as the AI-generated software improves. So now let's cover how to leverage some of the tools. So as you know, there's many tools out there, and that seems to be changing week by week almost as the AI-generated software continues to evolve and improve. So I'm going to actually go over 8 different tools that I think have the most potential. And as we know, ChatGPT is the one that's gaining the most attention and is taking off the most. So I won't go over that too much, but I wanted to cover some others and maybe some that aren't as well known as well. So the first tool that I wanted to go over is Microsoft Bing. And many of you know Microsoft Bing is a great search engine. However, recently Microsoft introduced AI-generated software into Bing. So when you go to the Bing site, you can not only search for things, but if you give it more information, the AI-generated software can return more information for you. So you can ask it to create a 3-course meal for you or something like that. And the more detail you give it, the better your results will be. So that's pretty exciting, and feel free to check that out. The next tool is actually within Microsoft. It's called Microsoft Copilot. Right now, Microsoft Copilot, as of this recording, is in beta testing mode. It hasn't been rolled out, but Copilot, when it's ready to be rolled out to the general population, it will be available in all apps, including Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and all of those different tools. So think of Copilot as your digital assistant, which is pretty exciting. So, for example, if you're struggling with creating a PowerPoint presentation and you wanted to get some idea generation, you can go into Copilot and you can ask Copilot to generate some starter slides for you and content based on a certain topic, and it can do that for you. So that's pretty neat. Next, I wanted to go over Canva. And if you have a free or paid account and you've been in Canva recently, you have probably seen that there are some different AI-generated tools that are available within Canva. Canva calls them magic tools. So there's Magic Write, Magic Presentation, and there's also other tools that are available to help with text to image and so forth. So feel free to check that out as well. Whether you have a paid or a free account, you can explore those. Just keep in mind with a free account, you're limited in what you can do. So if a paid account will actually give you a little bit more flexibility and leeway when it comes to using these AI generated tools within Canva. Next on the list is Adobe Firefly. Adobe Firefly is within Adobe. So it's actually in beta mode right now as of this recording. And it's going to be rolled out to all Adobe software tools such as Photoshop and also Illustrator and all those different tools. And so if you do have a Adobe account, you can go ahead and request to be a beta tester. I do have Adobe Creative Cloud, and so I'm able to be a beta tester, and I've tried it out a few times, and it is exciting. They do have a text to image tool, and there's just some other tools available, and they're also looking at adding some other tools, so there's some under development right now. So it'll be exciting to see where that goes with Firefly and when it's rolled out to all subscribers as well. The next tool I wanted to go over is Beautiful AI. So if you haven't heard of Beautiful AI, it's a online presentation tool. And what's nice about Beautiful AI is that it allows you to be able to create presentations that are not overwhelming. So if you've ever heard of the term, many have, death by PowerPoint, it takes away that death by PowerPoint mantra. So that way you don't have to worry about overwhelming your audience or your learners with too much content on the slides. It makes the design process easier. So recently, Beautiful AI, a few months ago, I believe it was, they rolled out an AI generated bot into all their software. So what's really exciting about that is that you can use the AI generated software to be able to get the creative process going. Similar to Microsoft Copilot, as I mentioned with PowerPoint. The only drawback to that is that with Beautiful AI, in order to use the AI generated component, you have to be able to have a paid account. So just be aware of that if you do check that tool out. Next is Grammarly Go. And Grammarly Go is part of the Grammarly tool. And so they've incorporated AI generated tools within that to help get the writing process going and things like that. So if you do have a free Grammarly account and you have the Chrome add-in, you can actually use Grammarly Go as part of that. Now, I haven't checked this out as of this recording, but it is available and is for both free and paid accounts. And so that's something that I'm going to be checking out soon, but I just haven't had a chance yet. So I hope you have a chance to take a look at that and see what that is like. And the second to last tool is called QuickVid, and that's QuickVid, QuickVid. And this is available for free. You can sign up for a free account, and they have different tools that they're beta testing. And so you can actually use AI generated software to be able to create YouTube video shorts. And there's some other different tools that they're going to be rolling out soon. So if you wanted to check out QuickVid, just go to quickvid.ai and then you can sign up for free and you can test it out and see how you like it as well. And last but not least, the tool I wanted to quickly go over is Diigo, and that's spelled Diigo. If you haven't heard of Diigo, that's something that I actually just came across randomly as I was also looking at QuickVid. And it's a way to organize all of your research content that you're doing online. And then it helps you to be able to place the research into organizational buckets and things like that. So what's nice too about Diigo is that you can send the information over to your friends and also your colleagues and classmates as well. So if you're working on a group project at work or also at school, you can do that as well. So that's really nice. If you know anyone that is in a doctoral program, that would be a great tool to be able to share with them as well. They do have free and paid options, which are really great. And you can actually do a lot with the free option, which is really nice because sometimes it's kind of limited with free options, but it looks like from what I've seen so far, you can do quite a bit with that free option. So hopefully those different tools will help you as you start to explore AI generated tools and how they can help you with your work as well. So next, let's go over the benefits of AI generated tools. Now, when I was trying to come up with some of the benefits, I did some research and then I also thought, well, let me go ahead and use one of the AI generated tools that's out there, which is ChatGPT. So what I did was I put in some information in ChatGPT and I asked it, what are the top 5 benefits of AI generated tools? And it brought back this list of the top 5 benefits. And it did a good job of that. So I thought I would go ahead and share that with you, that's where I got these benefits from. And I think they're pretty well on target. So here's the top 5 benefits based on ChatGPT. So the first one is increased efficiency. So with this, we can think about how AI generated tools can help automate some repetitive and mundane tasks, which can help free up time for more important work that we have. And also, AI tools can also process large amounts of data quickly and accurately. So let's think about the human brain and how much we can process. So if we have the AI tool do that and go through that information and sort it and process it, it might be able to do that a lot more quickly. Secondly, another benefit is that AI tools can improve accuracy. So AI tools, as we know, are capable of analyzing and interpreting data with a high degree of accuracy. So this will help reduce the likelihood of errors or mistakes. This can be helpful in areas such as finance, healthcare, and research. And if you remember back when I was going over some of the areas where AI generated tools are growing, I did mention finance and healthcare. So that's pretty exciting. Third, AI generated tools can also provide cost savings. It can help organizations save money on staffing and operational costs as well. And then the fourth benefit is that it can provide enhanced customer experiences. AI generated tools can be used to provide personalized recommendations, improve customer service, and streamline the buying process. Remember, that was another area that I covered earlier in the podcast. So that is a great area and a great benefit that we can think about too. How can we improve customer service and how can we streamline that buying process? And so companies will be looking at that. And I think that's something that is a benefit for companies as they look to do that. And then the final and fifth benefit is innovation. AI generated tools can help organizations innovate by providing new insights, identifying patterns and trends, and suggesting new solutions to complex situations. So that's pretty neat because as we think about ways that we can innovate, whether it's in business or in education or nonprofit, whichever area that we're working in, we can think about ways that we can do that. And so hopefully AI generated tools can do that and kind of help that creative process as well. So lastly, let's go over some of the potential drawbacks of AI generated tools. And again, I actually relied on beautiful AI to do this. So I typed in Chat GPT, I typed in what are some potential drawbacks of AI generated tools. And again, it came up with 5. And so kind of neat that I've got 5 benefits, 5 drawbacks. So the first one is bias. AI generated tools can inherit bias from the data that they are trained on or the algorithms used to create them. So it's important to remember that because there has been some concerns about tools such as ChatGPT inheriting some bias because it depends on who's creating it and what use they're creating it for. Secondly, another drawback is that it can have a lack of human interaction when we're using these AI generated tools. Although it can automate tasks, it can lack the ability to interpret complex situations, understand context, or provide that human touch that only humans can provide. So this actually can lead to a lack of empathy and understanding in certain situations such as healthcare and education. So we need to be aware of that and know what the limits are to AI generated tools and software. Third, there can also be technical issues. AI generated tools can experience technical issues just like any other type of software, such as bugs, errors, or glitches, which can lead to incorrect results or unexpected behavior. So we can't completely rely on these types of tools 100% of the time. So it's understandable that we should be aware of the limitations and that technical issues can happen as well. And then fourth, another drawback is dependence. Unfortunately, when people rely too heavily on different technology, such as AI generated tools, this creates a dependence that can make it difficult to operate without them. We've seen this with smartphones. I mean, we have our smartphones in our pockets and our purses. And I mean, how many times do we check our smartphones each day? We get notifications, we get phone calls, text messages, things like that. So just think about generally with technology. If we couldn't have access to our phone for a week, what would that do to us as individuals? We wouldn't be able to have access to the internet on our phones or be able to have our phone numbers. And I've heard that people don't even have phone numbers memorized, that they rely on their phone to be able to do that. So that's something to be aware of too with AI generated tools. And then finally, there's also the drawback of job loss. Unfortunately, AI generated tools can also lead to job loss as some tasks become automated. Remember how I mentioned one of the benefits was cost savings, but we have to look also on the other side of the coin and look at job loss as being one of those things that can happen. This can also have a negative social and economic impact and consequences if there are no adequate measures taken to support those workers who are affected by the changes. So I think what needs to happen is we need to have those adequate resources in place. And I think it even starts at the local and state level and maybe even the federal level, that where there needs to be those adequate measures taken. I don't know if companies can do that at that level or anything like that, but I think that's something that I think is going to be imperative because there is that fear out there that people's jobs are going to be replaced, and that can be scary and frightening. So we have to make sure that as a society that we can support everyone in a social and economic way as well. So hopefully this information helps and you're able to understand a little bit more about AI generated software and get that good overview. Again, we went over the uses for AI generated software, how to leverage some of the tools that are out there, the benefits, and also the drawbacks of some of these tools as well. So hopefully this will help you be armed and ready to go. So that way, when you come across some of these AI generated tools, you can have confidence in using these tools, but also know what to look out for as well when it comes to the drawbacks. Because we have to be aware of both sides of the coin, right? So I hope that this information has been helpful for you, and feel free to share this podcast with others as well that you think would benefit from this information. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Please take a moment to like the episode and share it with others so they can learn about this topic as well. Have a great day.